Hello everybody and welcome to a new custom campaign here on the channel. We are playing Betrayal at the Mountains of Madness. This one is Edge of the Earth Light, or maybe Edge of the Earth Extra Large. We're going to see what happens as this gets going. But it is 1935. The world has changed and so have the investigators of Arkham. The Great Depression brought massive unemployment, while in Europe fascism is on the rise and the specter of war once more hangs over the continent. The rate of technological change has never been higher, and new aeroplanes and steamships are making the world smaller, forbidding the locations that seem out of reach only a decade ago are ripe for exploration. Locations like Antarctica, still untamed and mostly unexplored, but something ancient lies beneath the frozen continent. Get ready for a lot of reading, yeah. And as you can already tell, I'm not doing that great. So, additional rules and clarifications. Abducted. Some effects in this campaign can abduct ally assets. When an ally asset is abducted during a scenario, place it in an out-of-play pile of abducted cards. Sometimes a card will be abducted while face down, in which case it is added to the pile face down without being revealed. Players can look at the face-up abducted cards anytime, and count the face-down ones. Easy. Creature assets cannot be abducted. Cool. Ignore any effect which would abduct a creature asset. Cool. Other copies of unique face-up ally assets that have been abducted cannot enter play. Spooky. A little bit spooky. Abductor keyword. Whenever an ally asset leaves play, such as by being defeated at a location where an ally has the abductor keyword, that asset is abducted itself. Remember that creature assets cannot be abducted. There was so much reading for this one that I just decided not to do it. Yeah, but I'm a pro reader. I read at a 8th grade level. If an investigator is defeated at a location where any card has the abductor keyword, all of their ally assets are abducted. A treachery with the abductor keyword is considered to be at the location of the investigator, resolving it until its effects finish resolving. A treachery with the abductor keyword, okay, I get that. Inexorable. Inexorable? Dictionary.com. Inexorable. Lady.
Inexorable.
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 There we go. Learning every day. Inexorable. When an enemy with the inexorable keyword would leave play, except by flipping or being replaced, instead remove all damage from it and automatically evade it. The next time it would ready, it doesn't. Okay? So it's like a super evade. They just can't die. They can't die. Patrol keyword. Oh, this one's real. Maybe this one's real. I don't think so. This one doesn't seem... That's not real. An enemy with the patrol keyword moves like a hunter enemy, but rather than moving towards the closest investigator, move towards the location specified in brackets. If more than one location would fit, I get to choose. I have the power. Rival keyword. Okay, we're still going. An enemy with the rival keyword will attack and hunt with hunter other enemies with the specified trait or traits. All enemies which match the specified trait or traits are adversaries of the rival. Okay? While an enemy with the rival keyword is at a location with one of its unengaged adversaries, the rival has aloof. While an adversary is at a location with one of its unengaged rivals, the adversary has aloof. Remember that aloof enemies spawn unengaged. While an enemy with the rival keyword is at a location with one of its unengaged adversaries, the rival has aloof. While an adversary is at a location with one of its unengaged rivals, the adversary has aloof. So they're like fighting each other. They're fighting each other, right? So like if they're at the same location together, they don't care about me. They are fighting each other. When enemies resolve attacks during the enemy phase, each rival which is ready and unengaged attacks one of its adversaries at its location, and each adversary which is ready and unengaged attacks one of its rivals at its location. Cool. JB Bridgers, thank you so much for the subscription. Welcome to the Golden Table. It's a pleasure to have you. A rival or adversary which is massive does not gain aloof. Okay. Arrivals at locations with their adversaries and advertising as adversaries at a location with their rivals do not resolve the hunter or patrol keywords because they're fighting. I get that. That makes sense. A rival with hunter treats its adversaries as investigators when choosing which location to move to. The lead investigator chooses between ties as always. Okay. Oh my god, you guys weren't joking. There is a lot to read here. Okay. I'll add, if I remember, because this video probably won't come out till March or February, If I'll remember, I'll add a time code to the thing for when the game actually starts. Enemies attacking enemies. Some game effects, such as the rival keyword, yes, we just learned about that, may result in enemies attacking other enemies instead of investigators. The investigators choose the order in which enemies' attacks are resolved, including the enemy attacks against other enemies. Alright. To resolve these attacks, choose a target enemy at the location this must be the enemy that the attacking enemy is required to attack, such as the adversary of a rival or the rival of an adversary, as specified by the effect triggering the attack. The target enemy takes damage equal to the attacking enemy's damage value. Exhaust the attacking enemies. Enemies defeated by damage from other enemies are not removed from play until the end of the enemy attack step. This means that enemies fighting each other or engage with investigators will still get to make their own attack. That makes sense. So this way, if a rival, for example, kills their adversary, or vice, it makes sense. I get that. The Zion, welcome to the goddamn table. It's a pleasure to have you. When massive enemies attack, they attack each investigator and each valid target enemy at their location. Cool, easy. An enemy with health per investigator, or which gets additional health per investigator, is a boss enemy. Bosses, alright. Whenever a boss enemy deals damage to another boss enemy, multiply that damage by the number of players in the game. Do not multiply damage dealt by boss enemies to non-boss enemies or vice versa. Non-attack effects which cause an enemy to damage another enemy should be multiplied in the same way. If any additive modifiers are applied... Oh my god, okay. So we're going to forget about that. The boss rule, we're going to forget about that, just so everybody knows. An enemy defeated by enemy damage is still defeated for the purpose of the game and is placed in victory display if it has victory X. Damage types. Some effects that deal damage have a type of damage specified, for example, 1 frost damage. Damage type has no implicit effect unless referred to on another card. Damage without an implicit type is normal damage. If an effect adds damage, such as the vicious blow card, any additional damage that is the same type as the source is being added to. During this campaign, all damage dealt by the lightning gun is considered lightning damage, and all damage dealt by the flamethrower asset is considered fire damage. Be aware that this may not always be a good thing. So we just have to know that. Okay. The Miskatonic trait. The Miskatonic trait is referenced during this campaign. During this campaign, the Ursula Downs and Wendy Adams investigators are considered to have the Miskatonic trait printed on their investigator cards. Fun. Almost done. Alright. Missing and deceased. Some effects may cause names and/or card titles, which are treated the same as names, to be added to the missing and deceased headings in the campaign logs. Ally assets matching these names are not abducted for the purposes of game effects, which reference abducted cards. When a name is added to the missing or deceased sections of the campaign log, any unique cards with the name must be removed from all investigators' decks, and unique cards in which that name cannot be added, while those names remain under those sections. When the card title of a non-unique card is added to the missing or deceased section of the campaign log, the number of cards that title can be included is reduced by 1. Okay. Card titles can be added more than once. For example, if a card title B-Cop is listed under missing, then each investigator can only include 1 copy of B-Cop in their deck. If the title were listed twice, no copies of B-Cop can be included. Any cards in excess of the allowed limit should be removed between scenarios. If that limit ever increases, such cards can be repurchased as normal. Alright, so just for reference, I built an Ashcan Peak deck around Jacob Morrison, and if Jacob Morrison goes missing, I'm going to start screaming and never stop. Yeah. A nameless under the deceased section cannot be added to the missing because they're dead. If we die or go insane, we go under the deceased section. How nice. Alright. Some unique ally assets in the campaign share a name with an investigator card. An ally card cannot enter the player and be included in the deck if it shares a name with an investigator. Makes sense. Okay, cool. Alright. So, this one's a bit different, where when we do our player decks, we actually start with 5 experience and 1 choice of physical or mental trauma. So our investigators, let me just get rid of this for a second, are Ashcan Pete and Joe Diamond. So it should be a good time. I haven't played Ashcan Pete since my first Dunnage playthrough. So I'm very excited to see how Ashcan Pete treats me today. Okay, let's read the text now, shall we? I'm going to drink some water. Okay. Symposium on the Paranormal, 7:30 p.m., October 12, 1935, Sever Hall, Harvard Yard, Cambridge, MA. Keynote address by Professor Henry Armitage, Dean of Academic Affairs, Miskatonic University, author of Supernatural and Preternatural Occurrences in New England. I'm going to assume that neither of my boys have the Miskatonic trait. Dang. So we're going to read without the trait. A conference on the supernatural being held at a respected institution of learning that isn't the Miskatonic University is a rare thing indeed in these modern times. While not strictly speaking an academic, though through your contact with Professor Armitage at Miskatonic University, you're able to book attendance. Too few people know the truth, and perhaps a more respectable academic interest in the subject will alert the world to the very real threats that face it. You arrive in Cambridge and fall in with the Miskatonic lot as they exit the subway and head for the building that hosts the symposium. Strange for a conference to begin in twilight. For the most part, the academics seem in high spirits, speaking of their reputations and future knowledge exchanges. But one or two of them have a haunted look that you know well. The look of someone who has already seen too much. Scenario 1, Boston Red Line. Let us go. An hour of profoundly awkward networking and an introduction from one of Harvard's deans later, Professor Armitage begins his speech. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to be invited to speak here at this august institution, the first and oldest in our great nation's history. I would like to start by thanking the sponsors of the event, the Star Chamber Foundation of Cape Town. He is interrupted by a series of loud bangs. All the doors to the hall have been slammed shut, and standing before them are armed men dressed like gangsters, or perhaps federal agents. People jump to their feet in confusion and begin shouting, but a burst of gunfire brings silence. What the frick? At the front of the room, Professor Armitage is pushed to join the crowd by one of the agents. The man at the front speaks with a distinct Afrikaans accent. The Star Chamber Foundation thanks you for your attendance. We recognize your great intellect and knowledge of the supernatural. Remain calm and you will not be harmed. The crowd does not remain calm. Several members of your group, including Professor Morgan, produce concealed weapons. Oh, let's go. And a firefight breaks out. The agents seem reluctant at first to fire on the crowd, and you're able to fight your way to an emergency exit in the confusion and break it open. Academics flood out into the night in a chaotic stampede. The flight back to the subway is a blur, but you find yourself staring at a chain gate and the words, all trains cancelled, mocking you, while submachine gun fire is inaudible behind you. Professor Wilmarth somehow breaks open the chains and you flee down the tiled steps. You pause for a moment on the platform to catch your breath, but more gunfire drives you down onto the tracks to escape. Before you can stop them, the rest of your group have scattered into the darkness of the subway tunnels. Okay. Click the play scenario container. Each investigator begins play at the Harvard station. That's here. Hello? The pitch black tunnel mouth reveals nothing of what lies ahead of you. Force. When an investigator is defeated at any location, each ally asset is controlled by that investigator is defeated. Ashcan, get up. Can't believe I'm playing Arkham after all this reading. I still have to do that, huh? Prepare the academics deck. Find the Miskatonic Day Out deck. Boom. Find each card in the deck that shares a name with any investigator being played and remove it from the game. I'm going to be pretty confident that there's not going to be a Joe Diamond or an Ashcan Pete in here. We're golden. We're golden. Shuffle the remaining cards and deal out 7 cards per player. Alright, so then we can just split this in half. Cut it. Boom! Give me that one. This one can go over here. Each card that wasn't dealt is removed from the game. Shuffle the academics and place 1 card per player face down beneath each location. 2 cards per location for a 2-player game. Place cards under South Station last. Okay. South Station, alright. So we put 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But what if Duke is in the Miskatonic deck? Well, then Duke has a lot of explaining to do. I need to know what's up with him. Okay, many cards in this. Oh my god, we still have reading, huh? Okay. Shuffle the encounter deck. Done and done. Many cards in this scenario count or target ally assets. Some of these cards only count or target specific kinds of ally assets, such as unique assets, story assets, or assets with or without particular traits. Be careful to only count or target the cards specified. Also remember that cards with the ally trait do not fill the ally slots unless they have an ally slot icon. Boom. This is so funny. I take the red line pretty often. Red line service can be pretty unreliable in real life as well. You know, it's good to know. The flavor is working. Duke target incoming? I really freaking hope not, man. If I lose my Duke, I might have chosen the wrong investigators for this campaign. During this scenario, investigators may gain control of story assets. They control these assets but do not own them because they are not part of their decks. If a story asset leaves play, such as being defeated or discarded or returned to hand, but it wasn't part of its controlling player's deck, it is discarded to a special discard pile that belongs to the scenario. Okay. Okay. Treacheries. Remember that you can activate treacheries on other players' threat areas. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I think we are good to start reading these cards and see what we got here. The southbound tunnel leads under the river and into Boston. There are several more stations along the route. There must be a way out somewhere in that direction. A strange sound emanates from the northbound tunnel. It is almost musical, like piping or whistling. But something about the tone and cadence is deeply unsettling. It's some way off, but getting rapidly closer. Give me this. See that cultist? That cultist is just a frickin' 0, man. The panicked academics have flooded into the dark tunnels. You need to find them and regroup. As a lightning bolt, I can spend a clue to randomly draw a face-down card from beneath your location. Choose an investigator at that location to put into play under their control. Okay. Okay, easy. What the frick? Bosch. Bosch. Keeping parallel to you through the tunnels is some kind of huge creature as dimly visible in the distance. Is it allied with your human pursuers or something else entirely? Aloof Hunter Abductor. For every player, damage on this enemy increase its fight value by 1 and reduce its evade value by 1. So he can have. So he'll become a 6 if we do try to kill him. He'll become a 6. Okay. This one, attach this card to your location. If there are no investigators at the attached location, discard this card. When you end your turn at the attached location, you take 1 damage. There are 2 clues at this location with a shroud of 2. Okay. Well, let's see what our opening mulligans are. Where did my buttons go? Where did my draw 1 buttons go? Does anyone know where my draw 1 buttons went? Oh, thanks, Tresmillion. I hope you had a great Christmas, too. Okay. So I think we can actually burn a good chunk of this. We can keep this wing in it. That's probably nice to keep here. Thank you, Tasty Toast. There's a button underneath to add the draw 1. You're a hero. Okay. We need a weapon. We also could just try to go really fast, right? We could just try to go like super fast. I think we're going to keep the deduction. I think I'm also going to keep... I think I'm going to keep the deduction, too. I can press draw 1 again. Alright, we got a weapon. Honestly, I think this is actually a pretty good start here for Mr. Joe Diamond. Alright, so I know I read everything, but I completely forgot about the abductor. So let me just go back and read the abductor thing here. Is abducted. Okay, that's what I thought. Boom! Easy. Okay. Well, I think we're going to get clues pretty fast here. All right, we're going to have Ashcan go first. We're going to, you know, I probably should get these on standby too, shouldn't I? I'm foreseeing on my first test, I'm going to draw an auto fail. I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. I feel it all around me. Okay, let's go. So we're going to play Old Keyring to start things off. And then we're going to investigate. So our location gets -2 shrouds, so we're at 0. We're at 2 to 0. And we're going to commit a deduction. Actually, no, sorry. First, we're going to also play this. Then we're going to go 3 to 0. Do we even need to do that? No, because we just pass. We're going to commit the deduction to this, so now we're at 2 to 0. If there is an unengaged Elder Thing enemy at your location, choose one. The skill test automatically fails, or an Elder Thing enemy at your location engages you. Wild. Wild. Great start. I guess we're going to treat it as an auto fail. That kind of sucks, but what can you do? We're going to Duke into this location. This location can be investigated using any skill. That's wild. Get some clue tokens. Zoop. Zoop. All right, so then we're going to investigate at 4 to 3. We're going to go 5 to 3 with this key ring. Beautiful. Okay. Let's see what our hunch deck is. Deep knowledge. We don't really need that right now. We're still kind of good with cards. So we're going to start with we're going to investigate. We're going to go 5 to the game's 2. -0. So we're going to grab 2 clues here. We're going to actually spend those clues to grab these allies, I think. Because the lightning bolt, spend 1 clue, randomly draw a face-down card from beneath your location, choose an investigator at your location. Cool. I was kind of right, wasn't I? Hey, my God, it's Daisy Walker! Exhaust this card, just draw a card, then choose and discard a card. Cool. That's a strong effect. We'll grab the other one, too. Hey, it's Henry Armitage. Uses 3 powder. Spend 1 powder and exhaust this asset. Choose an enemy or location. Until the end of the round, it gets -1 damage, -1 horror, -1 fight, -1 health, -1 evade. Okay, we control player or more ally assets. We immediately advance. You ask the breathless academics where their colleagues are. They reply that they heard shouts from the southbound tunnels, so you set off in that direction. The lead investigator may choose an investigator to move to a connecting location. All right, we'll have Joe Diamond move to this location. Seems good. Get out of here. What if you were playing Daisy? So if you're playing one of the investigators that are in the pile, you take them out at the beginning. So you actually can't play, like the Daisy Walker ally would not be there. The subway tunnels run for miles under the city. Finding anyone else down here is going to be difficult. Investigators at your location spend 2 clues as a group. Randomly draw a face-down card from beneath your location. Choose an investigator at that location to put into play under their control. The name of this custom campaign is Betrayal at the Mountains of Madness. Okay. Well, now we're going to stand together, for sure. And then we're going to play this gun. Okay, this guy's Hunter. You know it. If there are no investigators, we discard this card. Okay. Let's go to upkeep. Bing. Hey! Moonstone? What the frick? Alright. Now the scariest part when it comes to a custom campaign. The first Mythos cards. Star Chamber Constable. Hunter. Damage dealt by this enemy must be assigned to ally assets if possible. Okay. Duke deals +1 damage, right? Oh, yeah. Attach this card to the nearest location without a copy of this card attached to it. Trackless Darkness. After the last investigator leaves this location, discard this card. As additional cost to leave the attached location, you must spend 1 action. Okay. Alright, well, we're going to draw a card, then choose and discard a card. I think we're going to burn the safeguard here, I think. And let's see what our hunch is as well. Begin the investigation phase. Preposterous sketches. Okay. We can use any skill. Wow. Shouldn't the enemy be with Joe because of Daisy? I believe prey is not a thing when you draw the enemy. Prey is only when they ready after attacking, or the hunter keyword, when they are equidistant from each other. Yeah, prey is, in my opinion, the worst rule in this game. There's just so many times where it doesn't matter. It just doesn't frickin' matter. Prey only is good. I think prey only is good, but just basic prey? Just prey sucks. Alright, let's fight with Duke. Duke's out for fucking blood. So we have 4 to 3. We can go 5 to 3. Let's start there, because that is pretty good. Sweet, he's dead. Alright, we're going to discard a card to ready Duke, and we're going to discard this Moonstone, and I'm going to play my first Moonstone I've ever played in my life. You know, that's a good point. A Christian man would disagree. Praying does seem pretty sick. Alright. Then we're going to use our boy Duke, I think, to move out of this location. It will cost us an additional action. But we will going to investigate here. When you reveal this location, draw an encounter card. Sure. Surging Rats, Surgeon Hunter. Don't get me started on this card. Rats, but they surge, oh no. I remember when I first played Dark Matter, I went on a big rant about rats. And how the point of rats is to eat an action. That's the point of rats. So surging rats is like... To me, it's questionable. To me, it's questionable. But I'm an old man yelling at a cloud right now. We have 4 to 2 here. Sure, I'll just fail. Okay. Salty Justin in full force that day. I mean, like, you have to ask yourself as a game designer, what is the point of this? All right, what is the point of this? Zoop! And then if that point contradicts a previous point, why are you doing it? Why are you doing it than other just to just do it? Rats is one of the most elegantly designed cards in Arkham Horror. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful card. It's beautiful. Rats are beautiful. All right. We're really just taking 2 damage here, huh? Joe probably needs to come and help. That kind of sucks. Is this after you end your turn here? Yeah, he'll take a damage. Okay. Did you surge the rats? I did. That's where this thing came from, Tasty Toast. All right, we're going to move in here. Cost us 2 actions, then we're going to punch the rats. We have 4 to 1. That's probably fine. I'm going to commit it over... no, we're just going to go 4 to 1. It's not fine. All right. 2 of 4. Yeah, Christmas chocolate's getting me too. With clues and with a copy of this card attached. If you cannot, it gains surge. Sorry, there should be 6 clues here. You must pay 1 resource to investigate here. Okay. Boston subway ghouls. When this enemy engages you, it attacks you. Alright. I disagree. I disagree. Alright, we're going to talk about surging rats again, man. Hey! That's a good card. Alright, well, we're going to fight these rats. We're going to use Duke. We're going to go 4 to 1. I'm going to unfortunately use my ice pick to go 5 to 1 because apparently I love drawing the -4 token. Thought we weren't getting salty today? Man, don't blame me. Blame these rats that surge for no reason. Okay, that's a good hit. That's a good hit. I'm going to discard a Winging It to ready my boy Duke. Yeah, the -4 read. I know, I've played this game many times. As I say, though, I'm not, like, it's kind of funny how when I play this game in person, it doesn't get me mad if I draw bad tokens, but in here, it's because I just press this button and it instantly gives me negative feedback, right? It's just instant. It's like, hey, did you want to die? And I'm like, no, I really didn't. Okay. We are going to Duke out of this location because this location is kind of poopy. And there are 6 clues here again. Is this still a clue? Look at that. Is this the same save as with Lyle? So many -4s. Yeah, it was kind of cursed, huh? You want me to investigate at 4 to 4? Okay. Hey, look at that. We got a clue. Good job, Duke. Let's use that to... We'll do a lightning bolt to spend 2 of our clues to grab one of these guys. It's Amanda Sharp. After this asset enters play, attach a non-weakness card from your hand to it. Exhaust this asset. During the skill test, you get a bonus to each skill equal to that matching skill icon. Oh man, that would have been great with that. I guess we're going to do this old key ring over here. We'll draw a card for our last action. Ooh, yeah, shaka, yeah. Oh, man, the luck's just really working hard on me today. Zoop, zoop, zoop. So not one clue? No, it became 2 clues later on. For this one, it's 2 clues. All right. We're going to fire our gun at 5 to 2. On easy, that should be good. It is. Then we're going to just punch this guy at 4 to 1. -2, he is dead. Ooh, we should have played this. We're going to fast out this composure. We should have played that first. Justin the Veteran, what could possibly... I'm just going to draw for my last action. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah. I mean, I'm not... This doesn't bother me. This doesn't bother me. This is a very soft weakness. I am not at all worried. If I had, like, a weakness that actually did something, I'd still draw a card. What else am I going to do? Gain a resource? I don't need a resource. I always want cards. Cards are always great. We're going to grab a clue probably from... Well, we have to move. We want to move, and then we're going to grab a clue from this location. Boom. Let's come over here. We're going to not press upkeep because that will ready everybody. Hey, deny existence is always good. This one, he just gets normal, though. I'd still draw 2. It's not a criticism. Oh, I didn't think it was criticism. This is gone. I thought you were just being like, with the whole, like, Justin the Veteran, because you're like, it's a veteran play to draw last. That's what I meant. That's what I thought you were saying. So you and I were on the exact same page. All right, what do we got? Can these rats stop surging? Echoing Shriek. Test Brain 3. For each point you fail by, you must take 1 horror or choose and discard 1 card from your hand. If you're at a location with an abomination enemy, it gets +1 difficulty. Okay, that's kind of cool. We're at 2 to 3. Hey, the -4. Okay, so we're taking 3 horror. We can drop 1, 2, 3. We're going to risk it for the biscuit here. There's no way we're not going to risk it for the biscuit. I like that card, though. That's a nice design. All right, let's see what our hunch is. Scene of the crime. That's fantastic. Oh my god, that's incredible. So let's do it. We're going to discover 2 clues here. Okay. Then we're going to punch these rats. We have 5 to 1, so that does beat the -4. Sweet. They're dead. Then I think for our last action, I'm going to play the Beat Cop, probably. Probably the Beat Cop, right? We can spend 2 clues. This guy just has aloof, huh? I'm worried that he's going to lose aloof if we advance this. So I think we're gonna get the guys at the start of the next turn. For our last action here, we're gonna do... Oh, I should have used Henry to just kill the rats, huh? He just kills the rats outright. He reduces the health as well. It effectively deals 1 damage to the enemy. Am I an idiot? Am I dumb? What's Joe's weakness? You know what? We're going to do it again. We're drawing a card for our last action. Hey, that's nice. All right, over here, get rid of this. I think I'm going to actually have Ashcan move into this location. Let's see what we're cooking with. Okay. -1 Shroud for each unique ally asset you control. Clearly planned around future rats. It's true. At least chat's watching my back. I dig it. Nice advances. Okay. Oncoming Shuggoth. Toot toot. That's funny. It gets +2 player health. Massive. Inexorable. Abductor alert. Patrol. Oh my god. This guy's keyword soup. When this enemy enters location, each face-down card beneath that location is abducted. Sorry, my bad, sorry. Okay. The piping shriek grows louder and louder in the darkness behind you until suddenly an enormous shape slams into view. It fills the entire width of the subway tunnel, a writhing, heavy, pulsating wall of flesh. All across its surface are swiveling eyes, gaping mouths, and grasping pseudopods. Then it speaks. A hideous alien cry from every one of its hundreds mouths, saying, "Tekalili, Tekalili." The scream sounds almost like words. You turn and you effing run. This should be gone. Alright. Evil card. Taken by the Sky. Oh, that's cool. Attach this card to a non-creature ally as you control. If you cannot, again Surge. Test Fist 3. If you succeed, discard this card. When the investigator phase ends, if this card is ready, it's abducted. That's good. That's funny. To a non-creature. You can't, it doesn't go on Duke. That's so funny. Amanda, no! Oh, this thing again. Why can't you draw the brain tests? That's just how it works, though, right? All right, we're testing 2 to 3. It's not in the threat area. -2. So we take 3 horror again, huh? We can discard some cards. We can go 1, 2, 3. But maybe, like, Pete can draw those. Danny Barat, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the goddamn table. It's a pleasure to have you. Yeah, ignore creatures cannot be abducted. They cannot take Duke. Yeah. Other carriers, threat areas. Yeah, this one you can't. Sorry, Amanda, you're going to fucking space. All right. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with our hunch. Oh, incredible. I'm doing it. First action. We'll discover 2 clues here. This goes because there's no clues here. And then we're going to spend 2 clues to grab this person. Harvey Walters! We're getting all the game. The game's going back together. Spend a resource and exhaust this asset. You get +2 skill value for the skill test. That seems pretty nice. All right, we control 4. You're starting to gather a crowd, and it's getting difficult to keep them together and protect them all. The most recently rescued produces a cache of useful supplies they scavenged in the confusion. The lead investigator may choose an investigator to gain 2 resources. I'm probably going to choose my friend Joe Diamond over here. Okay. Now we just need Rita to join the gang. We do. Once you've rescued as many academics as you can, you need to find an unguarded exit and get out of the subway tunnels. Investigate your location. Spend three clues as a group. Randomly draw a face-down card from beneath your location. Choose an investigator that location to put into play under their control. Okay. Well, we're going to have Joe move into here. And then for his last action, we're going to investigate. And we are going to do a practice makes perfect. Maybe we can get a deduction. We are investigating at 5-2. Look in the top 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I'm going to commit this. I am going to commit this. It is practiced. So we have 5-2. This commits for nothing, but it could go in our hand if we pass here. You know what? We'll do this as well. We'll go 7-2. We might as well. We'll draw the take the initiative. Seems like a good deal. Sweet. This is gone. Okay. So this place seems bad for me to investigate. Oh, maybe the boy. Oh my god, if I get Pete Sylvester, oh my god, I can't wait. I can't wait. All right, we're gonna start by, as a group, we're gonna spend 3 of your 4 clues. 1, 2, 3, to grab one of these guys, and we're gonna put it under your control. Laban Shrewsbury. Uses 2 wards. When you draw a Tetri card from the encounter deck, spend 1 ward, take 1 horror, and exhaust this asset. Cancel that card's revelation effect. Can I give that to Joe Diamond? Do I draw after? You know what, I do get to draw it, so I'm going to give it to Joe. It does just work infinitely better in Joe's deck. All right, we are going to Duke into this location. I would like Ward on a Stick. Thank you, Superfang. Oh my god, it is Ward on a stick. Okay, place 1 damage or horror on a unique ally as you control. Discover 1 clue from your location. Now, we are investigating. So we have 5-4. Not great, but you just got to believe. You just got to believe. See? Told you. Yes, this is a fan-made scenario. Boston Red Line from the custom campaign Betrayal at the Mountains of Madness. It's the first scenario. All right, we're going to place a horror on Duke to discover a clue here for our second action. And then our third action, we're actually going to test this. So we're going to test at 2-3. We're going to get a +1. Watch this. Boom. My god. My god. I'm a lucky boy. Okay. So this guy moves here. These guys are abducted. Sorry! This guy moves there. And then we'll go to upkeep. Another ice pick does seem kind of cool. Perception is fine. 1 of 4. Justin gets no psychic points. It was a +2. It's true. I'm a fucking failure, Tasty Toast. If you don't need to sugarcoat it. I suck. I'm a sham. Attach this card to a non-creature ally as you control. The aliens really want Amanda Sharp. Oh, Antares, 1993. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime subscription on us. It is very incredible of you for supporting the channel. Thank you so much, and welcome to the Golden Table. It's a pleasure to have you. Zoop, zoop. Wow. This guy has a lot of allies. This skull is pretty bad for our boy Joe Diamond. Okay. We're going to have Joe go first. He's going to attack the Star Chamber Constable. He has, with the gun, I suppose. Yeah, actually with the gun. We have 7 to 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, where's Jim when you need him? Amen. Boom. All right, and then we're just going to investigate. We have 5 to 1. We're going to do it with this. 5 to 1. Sweet. Let's go one more. 5 to 1. Sweet. Custom designers should make their skulls minus 1,000 to make Jim good. I agree. I agree completely. All right, we're going to spend 3 clues and grab this person. Arabella Freeman. You have 1 additional hand slot and 1 additional arcane slot. That's kind of cool. Okay. Honestly, this isn't really doing enough for me, so we're actually just going to turn this into an ice pick. We're going to Duke... No, sorry, we're just going to... yeah, we're going to Duke our own location. So we have 4 to 4. We can spend these to go 6 to 4. Being up 2 is probably pretty comfortable. See? We're going to grab a person. Kate Winthrop? Oh my god, you're also a star. After this enters play, search the collection for an upgraded strange solution asset chosen at random and attach it to this asset? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Kate Winthrop? Oh, it's the fight one. Dude, we could probably kill this guy. Now that we drew that, we can probably kill this guy. That's going to be her Elder Sign ability. That is so funny. All right, we're going to ready Duke. Then we're going to move into this location. We are investigating at 4, 5, 5 to 3. Sweet. Let's grab a clue. This guy moves in here. Sorry, buddies, you guys are abducted. And we'll go to upkeep. Two to 4. Evil card over here. This card's going to gain... Sorry, Kate Winthrop, you are also wanted for collection. Aloof Hunter and Abductor. Damage dealt by this enemy must be assigned to ally assets if possible. Interesting. Okay. All right. All right, so I think we're going to want Joe to see what this is, of course. Oh, frick. That changes things slightly. It's not too bad, actually. All right. Well, we're going to start with this. We're going to spend 2. And we place one of our clues on the location with the highest shroud. Which is convenient. Oh, we don't even have a clue. We don't even have a clue. Remove this from the game. See ya. Okay. Next action, we're going to engage this guy, and we're going to shoot him with a gun. So we have 4, 5 to 3, 6 to 3. We can use Harvey to go 8 to 3. Sweet, he'll take 2 damage. All right. We're going to engage him, I think. And then we're going to fire the strange solution. So we have 6 to 4. We can go 8 to 4 with this overpower. -2. This guy will take 3 damage. He'll go to 5. And then we can go again. And we have 6. 6 to 5. So this puts us up to 8 to 5. And that'll put us up to... Sorry, you draw a card. And that's going to put us up to 10 to 5. Just no auto fail. Sweet. This guy's dead. Thanks, Kate. All right, let's go to upkeep. Sorry, we have to draw a card off that as well. Okay. Upkeep. Bing bong. All right, we're going to do a first watch here. And we can just go here, and we can just go like that. Then we go here. Okay. What's my hunch? Deep knowledge. Yuck. Okay. Well, I think we're going to fire our gun at this guy. We have 5, 6 to 3. We can go 8 to 3 just to make sure this guy dies. He's dead. Sweet. All right, I think we're going to investigate for another action. So we have 5 to 0. Cool. And then we're going to hippity hop on out of here. Cool. We're going to have Duke attack this guy, so we're at 4 to 2. We'll go 6 to 2. We just need these guys to die. Oh, good read, Justin. Good read. All right, we're going to discard this to ready Duke. We're going to move into here and investigate. We're going to investigate at 4 to 4. -2. Oh, shucks. We fail. Oh, no. Look what I found. We'll discover 2 clues. Okay, so we fought, we moved with Duke, we have 1 action left. I suppose I'm going to place a horror on Amanda to grab a clue. Cost 2? No, we need to do 3 now. That's right. Okay. Did you spend the resource for look what I found? Heck no. Heck no, I didn't. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, let's go to upkeep. Oh, on it comes and on and on. A great undulating wall filling the subway with its horrifying mass. The hail of gunfire from the shadows reminds you that there remain other threats in the tunnels. Each investigator takes 1 damage. Yeah, I'll go to 1 with Ashcan, Pete. I ain't scared of anything. If you stay down here for longer, perhaps you can find more of the scattered academics, but you also risk the lives of the one you've already found. When the Mythos phase ends, remove all Doom from play and discard all tokens and attachments from this card. For each Doom removed this way, each investigator takes 1 damage. That's cool. That's actually cool. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, we're going to first watch again here. For each point you fail by, you must take 1 damage or lose 1 action. Yeah, you can take this, and we'll take this. All right, we're testing 4 to 3. Sweet. We have wards on a stick. We do. We also have 2 deny existences over here. Okay. Wasn't it 4 to 4? Or connected to a location. Thank you. I missed the connected. Thank you, Tasty Toast. We did still draw a 0, so we're okay. But thank you. I drew a 0, right, chat? I'm not crazy. I said 4 to 3, then I drew a 0. Or did I say 4 to 3 and then I drew a -1? Yeah, perfect. So we golden. Okay, let's spend 3 clues. Hey, also, does this count as an encounter card? This counts as an encounter card. Sorry, this counts as an encounter card, right? Hello? Peter Warren? What are you doing here? You can die. We're going to engage this man. We're going to fire a strange solution at this man. We have 6 to 3, 7 to 3 with this vicious blow. Sweet. He's toast. 3 from this, 1 from that. Man, we got really lucky with that Kate Winthrop. Holy crap. We're going to duke into here for our last action. Place each ally. When you resign, we can do that. Okay. Well, we're investigating at 4 to 3. We can go up to 7 to 3 with this. Beautiful. I think only cards in the encounter deck are encounter cards, except when the act or agenda have encounter cards on the back. Interesting. Doop, doop, doop. It is, yeah. Counter deck contains counter cards, enemy treachery, and story asset cards. So the A side is never an encounter card. Yeah. How does true understand? How is true understanding worded? Can someone bring that up for me so I don't have to right now? I'm just curious about the difference. You know what? I should definitely have worded that. Zoop. I'm just gonna have worded that. That one's scenario cards. Cool. Thank you. I appreciate the intel. Zip. Let's move in here. And we're going to investigate. We have 5 to 3. We're going to go 7 to 3. Hey, our first one of the day. Let's do one more. 7 to 3. Cool. Excuse me. Let's go to upkeep. It's a good draw. Okay. Alien disruption. Alien disruption. Okay, so now we remove all Doom from play and discard all tokens and attachments from this card. For each Doom removed this way, each investigator takes 1 damage. Chat, don't hate me. Don't hate me, chat. Don't hate me, chat. It had to be done. It had to be done, chat. Don't hate me, please. It had to be done. It had to be done, chat. I know, I'm the worst. I'm just the absolute worst. We're going to investigate at 2 to 3. I'm going to do an ice pick to go 3 to 3 because we want to see a -2 here. Cool. That'll still work for this, though. We'll grab 2 clues. Oh no, it's still good because we have the -1 to this. So we go to 1. We went. All right. We were at 1 to 3. We did this. We go to 2, which brought us down to 1, which still works out. We still failed by 2. Because we were at 1, that put us to 2, -1 down to 1, 1 to 3. We're still good. Just forgot about the treachery card in my thing, but it still works out. Anyways, we're going to spend all of our clues to rescue these last 2 people. If creatures could get abducted, I definitely would not have Rita! Curtis! Then we're going to resign. And you're also going to resign. We're just going to resign. Rescued. 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 Rescued, didn't even use his ability. I'm a fucking chump. Rescued, rescued, rescued. Holy crap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wow, we only missed 4 of them. It's kind of crazy. Advance. As you approach the platform, exit at South Station, you hear a voice call down to you. This way, quickly! It's safe for now, but they will return soon. You hurry the academics you've been able to gather upwards to the light and escape to safety. Resolution 1. But first I want to see Rita's ability. You get +1 foot! Checks out, doesn't it? It's all she does. She's brought down to just this, just like in this game, in this scenario too. After you succeeded a skill test on a treachery card, exhaust this asset, draw 1 card. That's a good card. That's a good card. Okay, resolution 1. Resolution 1. You emerge onto the concourse of the South Station to a scene of carnage. Multiple dead agents are heaped onto the ground, and standing calmly among them is the man you heard call out. He looks wild and unkempt, obviously having been living rough, and is holding a military rifle. One of the Miskatonic academics gasps, William? William Dyer? The stranger grunts. What the devil happened to you, man? Where have you been, and what's going on? The stranger, evidently Miskatonic University's famous missing geologist William Dyer, looks over your small group of survivors. I told Moore, he says, more to himself than any of you. I told him not to go poking around down there. I pleaded, and now look at what he's stirred up. He looks at each of you directly in the eyes. These attacks aren't going to stop unless we cut them off at a source. At the source. You can come with me and help me deal with them, and perhaps we can rescue some of our colleagues, or you can keep running until they catch you. Are you coming? We need to leave immediately. Confused, you ask where to. Where do you think? Dyer replies. Antarctica. In your campaign log, which is notably the Dunwich Horror, it's as for Speedy. That's funny. Excuse me, I want this. We escaped Agents Star Chamber in Boston. Boop. Oh God, no! Don't mind me. I just pressed my my numpad. I should not have done that. If S did stand for Speedy Tasty Toast, I'll give it to you. I'll give that to you. All remaining cards beneath locations are abductive. With at least 5 cards per player in the rescued pile, add a cultist token to the chaos bag for the rest of the campaign. There are 10, so we will add a cultist token to here for the rest of the campaign. Did too good. Check the victory display. If Bosch is in the victory display, record the name Bosch under the deceased. Deceased. Bosch. There's at least 1 story asset in the scenario discard pile, likely to be defeated without being abducted. Add a skull token to the chaos bag. There are no story assets in here, so we are good there. Each investigator earns experience X for each card on the victor display. And then we get divvy it up, so we get 7 XP each. Those numbers do be big. Those numbers do be big. The investigators must choose. Wait, the abducted academics are still in this city. We must try to rescue them. There's no time to lose. Skip to resolution 3. I think we're going to try to rescue them. That's what Ashcan and Joe Diamond would do. The rest of the night passes in a blur of gunfights and empty warehouses. By dawn, you're convinced that the Star Chamber have left the city, but you're intercepted by a one-armed, unmarked van. There's not a shred of useful evidence, but in the back you find several of the abducted academics bound and still alive. Each investigator may choose one card in the abducted pile and move it to the rescued pile. I'm going to imagine we can't look at it still because they're face down. And then we add another cultist to the bag. Hopefully the cultists are this easy in the future, huh? I'm going to wager not. With little time to prepare, you leave Boston Harbor on board a steamship bound for Argentina. Record the title of each card in the abducted pile in the campaign log under Missing. Ezra Graves and Wingate Peasley. I have no emotional attachment to either of these MFers. I spelled deceased interestingly. Nah, decased. I'm a lawyer. Don't you know that? You don't know that about me? I'm a lawyer. Record the name of each story asset in the rescued pile in the campaign log under survivors. Oh my god. Nicholas Osi? Alejandro Vela? What the frick? That's allowed? Excuse me? Is this the real one? Or this is probably the real one. Okay. For each of the rest of the campaign, each investigator may include one of the story assets listed under survivors in their deck. It does not count towards deck building limits. Between scenarios, may be freely add and remove the story assets listed under survivors to and from their deck as long as there are no more than one in each deck. Cool. For the rest of the campaign, when choosing a replacement investigator, players may not play any investigator whose name is listed under the missing campaign log. Then we go into Interlude 1. Rendezvous in Argentina. We're heading for Argentina, Dyer tells you, looking over the handrail at the passing coast. If I've calculated the dates correctly, there will be a meetup with an expedition who are scheduled to collect supplies on their way to the Weddell Sea. I've already made contact, and I'm sure they will welcome our involvement. On the way, Dyer gives you what seems like a heavily abbreviated summary of the situation. In 1931, he was part of Miskatonic University's Popoti Geological Expedition to the Antarctic. Antarctic, yeah, during which he saw things which resulted in a firm belief that no one should ever explore the continent in detail. You think back to the news stories of the time when the expedition reported with great excitement absolutely incredible fossil finds, which would certainly trigger a completely reevaluation of models of life's evolutionary history on Earth. On his return to the U.S., however, Dyer publicly announced the earlier reports, stating that the finds had in fact been not nearly as interesting as initially thought. You ask Dyer what it was he saw. Yeah, I lost 2 of them. I got 2 of the 4 I missed. I saw. I cannot bear to speak it aloud, even now. I documented it all soon after returning. I will loan you a copy to read on the journey. I gave it to the university. They dismissed it as a work of a fragile mind, shattered by a traumatic experience. The irony. Oh my God. That's a lot of reading. In 1993, a second Miskatonic expedition led by Professor Moore set out in pursuit of initially reported discoveries and in defiance of Dyer's pleas to the contrary. Neither Moore nor his co-leader James Starkweather ever returned from the ice. Didn't just miss everyone under missing? No, survivors. Deceased, missing, and survivors. It's all that Christmas chocolate again. I knew Moore, adds Dyer. He was a student of mine before the war and a colleague afterwards. He helped organize my expedition, although he was unable to participate, and I think he never forgave me for refusing to explain what really happened, not to mention making every effort to cancel his expedition. And of course, I was right, though it gives me little comfort. That same year, the Barsmeyer-Falcon expedition out of Germany also visited the Antarctic, and returned after a terrible accident killed nearly 4/5 of the expedition's personnel, including Falcon. Disgrace and ruin, Joseph Barsmeyer killed himself in 1934. No one really knows what happened to either expedition. I believe both had access to my report, and while my purpose was to dissuade further investigation, I fear may well have had the exact opposite effect. And now there is this new threat, this so-called Star Chamber Foundation. I believe to be nothing more than another cult, unwitting slaves of our alien enemy that lurks in the south. Either my expedition stirred up this evil, or some further foolishness in 33 did. So, we must go there ourselves and try to put a stop to this. I know that you and my erstwhile colleagues have some facility with these matters, but if I am right, then this may well be a threat on a scale you have not yet experienced. I can only hope we, and our allies at Argentina, are enough to meet. Now go read my report and get some rest. Dyer's report begins normally enough, telling a mundane tale of Antarctic exploration, but it quickly takes a turn towards the fantastical. He claims to have discovered an ancient ruined city on a frozen continent, a city over 40 million years old. Dang, that's old. Supposedly it was built by extinct alien creatures referred to as elder things, and their slave species, the shape-changing Shuggets. The incredible fossils the expedition had earlier reported on publicly are found to be hibernating elder things, who awoken and killed most of the expedition members. Following them to the city, Dyer and his student Danforth encounter the corpses of 4 out of the 8 revived aliens before being discovered by the still-living Shugget that killed them. They flee for their lives, but while escaping by plane, Danforth looks back and sees something beyond the city which leaves him insensible. Oh my God. The rest of the trip to Argentina passes in uneventful, brooding calm. When the ship docks at Buenos Aires, you find the city even more bustling than you expected. 2 obvious reasons for this are clearly visible from the ship. The first is a Zeppelin, looming over the city and casting its immense shadow. The second is the ship docked alongside yours. It is an icebreaker steamship, seemingly brand new, but what stands out about it are the bright red flags that hang from it. Flags that proudly display the icon of Germany's new ruling party, the Nazis. Dang. You confront Dyer immediately. There are no other expeditions this year. We not have the resources to organize one of our own, he replies. I am sure that the Germans have some dark purpose in Antarctica. Doubtless they seek to exploit the very powers that I warned of in my report. If that is so, then it seems to me it is better to be well positioned to confront and stop them than to leave them unobstructed. I hate those guys. Me too, man. The Nazis? Controversial opinion. I hate those guys. The Germans clearly recognized Dyer from his expedition and at its recommendation welcome your party aboard the ship, the Herman Worth. They proudly announced that they are for the first large-scale expedition funded by the Ahnenerbe, an archaeological society dedicated to the pursuit of evidence of the Aryan and specifically German superiority. Uh-oh. Is Ashcan Pete a Nazi? Exactly what they hope to discover in uncharted Antarctica, and they are less clear about it. But you can't help wondering if the eagerness to welcome Dyer has something to do with it. With the last supplies aboard within a week, you set sail for Antarctic. Proceed to scenario 2 in the company of monsters. I'm just going to say, is it a coincidence that we just saved Alejandro Vela and now suddenly we're on a Nazi ship? I think not. I think not. Okay. Well, that was the first scenario of Betrayal at the Mountains of Madness. Honestly, I kind of dug it. I dug the scenario. I thought that was pretty fun. So we're going to keep it going in the next one. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who is watching here on Twitch, everyone who's watching on YouTube, and another big thank you to all of our patrons. Look at all those acolytes. Obviously, the Wizards of the Order, Knight of the Inner Circle, you guys mean the world to me too. Thank you for your support. But I'm just so happy with all the support that we've been getting on the channel recently, especially with the last few weeks. It means the world to me. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It allows me to do this more. Starting in January, which is a few days from now, but maybe weeks later, since on YouTube, we're going to be starting a Friday stream every week as well. So Monday, Friday, Arkhams should be a good time. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. And as always, GG's.